looking for, you know, is there a place to go, whether it's CLF or somebody else who's going to sort of, you know, keep a timeline of what's happening when, and when the public is really, you know, when are the key times to be making those calls and to be going to those meetings, and how do we keep track of that?
It'd be really nice to have one place that we can go to.
Yeah, just to answer your question, we definitely plan to play that role, and are starting. We are in the very early stages of getting materials up on our website. If you go there now, you'll see basically a main page and our filing before the Department of Energy, which raises a lot of the questions and concerns we have right now. We definitely want to play that role and of serving as an information clearinghouse for the public and letting people know when and how they can best engage.
Do you have an email list going already, just a general one, so that people can sign up?
We don't have a listserv yet, but yeah, I'd be happy to take emails
Monday,
as well.
Maybe. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
is that something that you'll link off of Red Rivers? Would that possibility exist?
What do you think, just through Jessica, or maybe Green Concord can have a follow-up on that?
Anybody that's already getting the emails from Green Concord for the movie series, we'll have a link to that.
There are two groups in the northern part of the state that are already in place. One's called Bury the Northern Pass, and then there's another, and and I just want to sidebar here for a second. They actually started out with the precept that they might actually be able to bury this line, and that would solve the problem. But we don't need this power. So burying the line, which would get rid of some of the aesthetic problems. I think there's an evolving thought up there that it's more of a metaphor than a literal thing.
Yeah.
Burying it is preposterously expensive. And then there's another group up there too.
Yeah, and I think that's an important note. There are groups that are forming with sort of different interests. Some that have dug in their heels and they're opposed to the project, and that opposition is driven by certain interests, which are very understandable. CLF has not taken a substantive position yet opposing this project, but I think if you were to read the comments we filed with the Department of Energy right now, based on what's been provided, we would say, this project can't go forward, that a lot more information is needed. And I mentioned the National Environmental Policy Act in that review process. A critical part of any review through that process is a detailed and objective analysis of alternatives. So that alternatives analysis should look at other routes. It should look at not bringing the power down at all and what that would mean for for the energy sector in New Hampshire and region-wide.
What about us?
So, I think we're sort of waiting and seeing how this plays out, and we're interested in what the impacts of this project will be on the ground in New Hampshire with the communities that it runs through, but also interested in better understanding what this power would mean for New England and New Hampshire.
And Franklin's going to love it, because fully a quarter of the 1.2, not 1.1 anymore, billion dollars that this project is projected to cost is going to be in Franklin, and it'll add to their property tax base and whatnot. So they're very excited about this, and I'm excited for Franklin because Franklin needs that. But the thing about it is you'll hear that there, and Lisa Shapiro is somebody I respect, but she did this report. She's the public service of New Hampshire lobbyist and whatnot, that said there are 1,200 jobs that are going to be created as a result of this. And those jobs, you really need to look closely at that report. It's like, if Hans flips an egg for me in the morning, and I'm going to go out and work on the power line for 2 years, then he's got a job. But at the end of the 2 or 3 years that it takes to build this thing, most of those jobs go away. And so it's really, the Cree saw this with the whole jobs thing. Oh yeah, you're going to get jobs. All your kids are going to have jobs. Really pay attention to that, because it's bullshit.
So maybe 2 more questions? Anybody who has some questions? Yeah. Go ahead.
I just have a kind of a point. It's not really a question. But one thing for everyone to bear in mind about the review, you say there's going to be this review of the process and so forth. One thing to bear in mind is during the permitting process, if the company fulfills all their obligations and fills out that application for the permit and all of those details have been met, and that's administratively complete, that permit issues by right. So at that point, where all that work is done, there's not a whole lot people get to say about, no, we don't want it here.
The permitting processes, I would agree,
That's scary.
they tend to favor the applicants, and
So do we know where it is in the process in regards to her statement?
It's at the very beginning.
It's barely begun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Barely begun. Basically, the application has been filed with the presidential permit. A period of about a month was open for people to intervene and comment.
But Hydroelectric and PSNH and the governor have been talking about this for 2.5 years. So, I mean, they have a head start. So when we say it's barely begun in the public sense and in the public process sense. But there's been a lot of discussion already, and they're being very, very cagey about how they roll this out. I mean, 2 weeks before the election, the governor was in Franklin with the mayor of Franklin, who believes a Republican, and they were doing this event announcing that this great thing would be happening. So.
Meredith,
There's one other place that I'm getting my information, that's right from PSNH. On their website, you can sign up to get e-newsletters about Northern Pass. And
Yes.
granted, it's coming from them, but
Yep.
it is a way to find out about filings and meetings and things like that.
right.
Yeah, and a very reputable member of the Department of Environmental Services took early retirement to go and work as the public relations person there. So.
Yeah. So if you want to, Concord Monitor, again, today had the article front page, so concordmonitor.com, and you can go in there and get a little bit of an overview of the whole thing in the line, and also how it's impacting Concord. So be sure to do that. I guess Tom's website, they can connect with you guys for future.
CLF.org.
Okay, .org. Okay. Any other questions? We're good to go. Thank you, guys. This could go on all night, but I think the big message is we've got the power, and go to the meetings and ask questions, because these people don't have all the answers yet, and they need to.
We have the power literally and figuratively. We already have it.
We have excess power. Okay. Thank you, folks. Be sure to check out the tables outside, and hope to see you at the next movie.